Extreme heat is on the rise, and so is the risk of heat-related illness. As our planet warms and hotter days are more common, some experts are concerned about how the higher temperatures interact with some of our most common medications. We are a pill-popping public, after all. Our cabinets are full of pain meds, antidepressants, and antibiotics. But common medications could be making us even more vulnerable to the heat. And some common meds can be affected by a simple rise in temperature. Hi, my name is Alexandra Steele. I'm a meteorologist and climate communication specialist. In this series about the wild world of extreme weather, I'll be introducing you to scientists, experts, and some of my friends, all in the fields of weather and meteorology. We'll share stories, ideas, insights, and even learn a few things along the way. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. All over the world, average temperatures are rising and record high temperatures are being recorded. Those high temperatures are affecting our bodies and the medicines we put in them. Dr. Neha Pathak is an expert on the health impacts of climate change.
First, it's really important to understand that as human beings, we live sort of in this Goldilocks temperature, and we work really, really hard to stay in that temperature range. That's where all of our bodily functions, our organ systems, our cells all work really well within that range. And a lot of the medications that have been developed over time are essentially medications that have been optimized or that work when we are living in that temperature range.
But that temperature range has changed. It's getting hotter, and we're now seeing much longer lasting heat waves than ever before. Meteorologist Jeff Masters has been analyzing the climate for decades.
When you put more heat in the atmosphere, your background state is hotter. When you do have a heat wave, it's launching from a higher base. And in particular, it turns out that the extreme events really see a big increase in frequency. Extreme events that we used to think were impossible back in the 20th century climate are now possible. And we've seen several of these in the past few years.
And these extreme temperatures could mess with our medications.
So what we're finding is that there is this theoretical risk, and in the data and studies, this seems to be borne out, that when people are on certain types of medications, it changes the way that their sweat response might work. It changes the way that their blood vessels are able to shift and move and change so that they can maintain their blood pressure. And a lot of that interferes with how we can cope with extreme heat. When the temperature rises, we try to basically open up our blood vessels to get rid of heat. And if you're on a medicine that interferes with that, that can cause problems when there's times of increased temperature.
While our temperatures are increasing, so is the number of Americans on medication. According to the CDC, 60% of us suffer from at least one chronic disease, 40% have at least two or more, and many adults over 65 are on multiple medications. That multiplies the risk.
Certain medications are those that you would take for your blood pressure, like beta blockers, ACE inhibitors. These are medicines that can also affect the kidney. Other medications are the ones that people might take for depression. So certain antidepressants might have an effect on your body's ability to cope with extreme temperatures. The other medicines that we often think about are antihistamines, anticholinergics, so medications that are commonly in our medicine cabinets.
And there are more. Ibuprofen and allergy medicines like Benadryl that contain diphenhydramine can increase your sensitivity to heat and affect your body's ability to regulate its temperature and know when it's overheated. Antidepressants like Prozac, diuretics, and antipsychotic drugs all can increase sweating and dehydration and lessen your body's ability to shed heat through sweat. You can see a list of common medications that may increase your danger during heat waves at the link in the description. I talked to climate communications expert and author Susan Joy Hassell about the negative relationship between extreme heat and medications and the people most at risk.
A lot of the medications that young people take, in particular, say for asthma, that they do increase heat sensitivity. This is a real problem because already young people and older people are more sensitive. They have more trouble regulating their body temperature, so they're more sensitive to heat. So that's a real problem. That's a place where we're going to need to provide certain adaptations. We're going to have to make sure that people have access to cooling centers and that kind of thing.
But keeping yourself and your medications cool can help keep both a bit safer.
People need to know is certain of their medications may need to be refrigerated, or certain medications may not function optimally because of the heat. So for example, certain types of inhalers. If you just sort of leave it laying in your car because you want to access it when you need it, that may not be functional anymore or appropriately functional when you need it if it's just been sitting in that high temperature. So thinking about storage of medications is also going to be really important.
Heat can also damage medications before you even take them. It can cause pill coatings to crack, melt, or peel, which affects their release inside the body. Climate change is all around us, and it's now come indoors and into our medicine cabinets.
I think people need to do a couple of things. Number one, they need to be aware that this is a problem. Number two, they need to be aware of the temperatures in their regions and when there are going to be extreme temperatures or periods of time when the temperature is just going to be higher for a longer amount of time. And they need to have a safety plan. So they need to think, one, where can I go so that I can have air conditioning if I don't have it at home? How am I going to, if I have to be outside, going to make sure that I can access shade at regular intervals, that I can stay hydrated and drink lots and lots of fluids? How can I make sure that I can take breaks and be in a cool area if I do need to be outside?
So as our warming planet continues to impact the way medicines interact within our bodies, having a plan just may be the best medicine. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And for more climate change coverage, including a list of all medications impacted by heat, visit our website, climateconnections.org.